me move my wires out of the way. All right, let me view my live stream. Let me turn my volume down too, because we don't want all that extra echo. There we go. Beautiful. Just you, me, and the trains in the background. Gotta love living in the city. Let's see, let me adjust my phone real quick so I can rotate it. And we'll get started. There we go. Okay. Move my wires. What's the thing about all these wires? They're always in the way. Okay, I think we're good right there. Should be good. Well, what the goal is here today, and this should be a pretty quick video. It shouldn't take very long. I recently had gotten the Frankenstein character, NECA character, and I was really happy to get it. And I have a shot that I want to do with this figure on just an old wooden tree swing seat with rope. So in theory, it will be a really easy photography setup and shot that's going to depend really on angles and colored light, colored gels to create mood. But in theory, all it is going to be is a swinging tree seat from a piece of wood. So, I want to do on the live stream, I want to share just how I'm going to make a swing seat. That's all. And I wanted to share, this figure is so stinking cool, but I'm really bummed out, NECA. It's probably not your fault. I don't know, though it could be. I'm not sure. This figure, and I chose this one over Mezco because I really loved the alternate faces and the expressions, and they're really done super well. But look, I just got it. Now I know this character, it was put together with different body parts. Now I don't know if that's what you were trying to achieve here in the finished figure, but I doubt it. But he's broken, and the problem is this joint is solid in there. It doesn't articulate, and so it broke off at the stem. I really don't want to buy another one because it's another $52, and I don't want to return this one because I got him already. Dang it, what do I do? I'm in a conundrum anyway. So NECA, if you're watching, well, I sure would like another figure. But great job on this one anyway, man. Did a really nice job. I really love the way this figure looks. And honestly, this figure too, I was thinking about it. He may be taller than, he is taller than Jason. Jason, I thought you were the biggest, but you know what? I think old Franco got you. I think Frankie got you. Anyway, so I'm going to leave him out of the box for a moment because, let me get his leg too. We're going to use him for measuring the seat of the swing. Beautiful, beautiful character, man. I got this in the mail. I was like, yes, I got it. Finally, the color version. In my opinion, the better of the two. And his leg was busted. But anyway, man, this is really cool packaging, really cool box. This video is not about the character. It's about building from scrap foam some wooden swing seat. And that's what we're going to do. Let me set a couple of these things to the side. You'll see what these are later. First and foremost, I just need a piece of scrap foam that's going to be good enough for that we can cut down into the size of a swing seat. Good news is We don't have to worry about one leg. I like this. I'm wondering if it is a bit thick on width. Let's see, so I don't have to cut it. Oh, looky here. Looky here. That's why I save all these pieces of scrap, because you just really never know. So what we're looking for is, I'm going to have, come on, Frankie. Let's, does his arm bend out of the way? I don't know. I'm really scared to even try to bend this guy. There's a joint there, and he's supposed to bend. Okay. What we need to have room for on here, throw your hands up, throw your hands, okay, is the width for him to sit, as well as string come through the sides. We're pushing it pretty close right here. I think we could get it done with that. Let's see. This is perfectly square. It looks wider on this side. Let's see what our options are. The thing is, I don't want to have to get out the Proxxon and shave this down a little bit, because I'm lazy. You can call me lazy, it's okay. This is thick enough, but this was the same thickness as the other one, and I like it. Yeah, this is the same thickness. So what we can do is we'll roll with this piece here, and then I can just trim some off that way, and I can just do that with a utility knife. I don't need to do it with the I didn't want to have to get my Proxxon out, because I'm not wanting to. I just want to do a nice quick build here. Let me move this box out to the outskirts. Okay, so we want to have this. Let me grab my ruler. So if we go, and like I say, and I haven't decided yet which string I want to use. This is too thick and this is too thin. I need one right in the middle. So anyway, let's figure out one thing. We'll cross that bridge when we'll get to it. If we leave an inch to the sides, we can do an inch to the side, and that'll give me room to put the string. Actually, we could do an inch to the side, so we could do a 4-inch swing seat. I think that would probably be good, or might be a little big. Let's do 4-inch, and we can always take it down a little bit, but I think that's what's going to work best, because by the time I go and cut the edges to make it look like wood and stuff, and if I end up using this here, I need a little bit more room on the edges. Oh, don't want to lose his leg. Can't believe he broke his leg, man. Oh, what a bummer. So we've settled on 4 inches pretty much, and let me get one of my blades out here, and we'll do 4 inches. Do I have a pencil lead on there? Yeah. So, and it doesn't matter that this is all scuffed up and whatnot. We're going to turn it into wood and texture it up anyway. And this is really simple to do. It's like making a wood floor. If you see my wood floor video, then you know it's just going to be just like making that. There is one little twist I'm going to add on here at the end, though. So we said 4 inches. So let's do 4 1/16, just to give me a little blade. What do they call it? The kerf. The kerf. And you would probably do that if you're using this on a Proxxon. You would probably give yourself 4 1/16 just to give yourself a little bit of that. You're going to lose a little bit with a hot wire cutter, because it's going to melt that back. And so you'd probably want to do a 4 1/16. Okay. Give my lines lined up. Yeah, and because the Proxxon cutter doesn't, it cuts it, but it does it by melting. So And this is a little bit of a dull blade, but we're not cutting anything thick, so I can just make a few passes and get through it and be all right. Don't judge me on my dull blade. And we'll keep that, because we may want to do something else with it later. Okay, so let's think now in terms of width for this deal here. We're looking good on the sides. Captain Lieutenant Dan. Was that poor taste? I don't think it was. I'm thinking we don't want to. No, he's not swinging on a. I'm thinking 2 inch. I'm actually really thinking 1.5, man. 1.5. I mean, we're not going to be swinging on a big old piece of plywood. It's going to be, you know, a 2-board swing or so. So 1.5 in each board can be 0.75. Yeah, let's do 1.5. I think that's going to work. So let's make our other cut. We'll do 1.5. And then once we get the cut down, then we're good. 1.5 with a 16th. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 8/16? Looks like 8/16. Too early for all that. Let me see. Yeah, man, I got Frankie. I'm like, man, this thing looks cool. I'm glad I went with the NECA version. And I think that might have been a manufacturing defect, just because that joint looks so bound up in there that it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the person who resold it on Amazon to me. It was just that joint was bound up in there, and I'm too lazy to return it and impatient to wait. 2 things that you don't want to have partnered as far as characteristics go: laziness and impatience. I don't know. I got them both. Okay, so we'll put this piece back here with the rest. And that leaves us with a decent looking swing seat, man. I mean, that's pretty easy so far, right? Haven't done anything really too extraordinary. So at 1.75, we just divide that by 2. I mean, at 1.5, and we get 3/4 of an inch each. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to make myself a mark so that I can get a center line to the board. We're not going to cut the board or anything, but I do want I want it to look like there's 2 boards together making this swing. And so that's what I'm going to use this line for. We'll just, well, we could, tell you what, we could score this, and then, because we're going to gray wash this, so let's just give it a little score. Score, I don't mean a musical score. Take a sip of coffee. Everything's better with coffee. Okay, here we go. We got 2 boards, and my idea for this is 2 raggedy looking pieces of old wood that was laying around that got fashioned into this, you know, swing, just like what you'd see probably on some freeway overpass, which I see a lot of here lately in Oakland. It's not on the overpass, it's under the overpass or over train tracks. Don't do that. Don't make a tree swing near train tracks. And I see that. That's crazy. I see that here, though. Please don't do that. Now for a little bit of the funner part. What I want to do is I'm going to just kind of break this. It's just a piece of wood. You could use any piece of wood you want. And I'm just using this because it works well. So I'll kind of just break it in the shape of one of these sticks that I'm doing, and then I'll just break the tip so we got a little bit of a kind of a ragged edge on the tip. And might be a little flimsy. I might have to break it up a little further, but all I'm going to do here is we're going to let me knock down some of the higher parts so we don't get like a vampire tooth looking texture. We don't want that. And we're just going to drag each board. I think we're going to get to a little firmer part. There we go. I think that'll work. There we go. And we're going to drag this. Don't like go through the line that we made. I just want to go on each line and drag, creating deep wood texture or wood grain. That's all I'm doing. You can drag right up to the line. You can use the line as your reference for each board. Get the edges. Make sure my head isn't blocking the camera, as it sometimes finds itself doing. Okay. Can't really see this maybe on the GoPro yet. I'm trying to get the light to reflect off of it. Got some really nice scoring here on some wood. And we'll just do the same on the other side. I mean, this is a really easy way to make yourself a swing for any character that you have. And all of this is a piece of scrap foam and some string. Let's see what we got here. Okay, there's my center line. You know, one thing I want to do, because I'll forget if I don't, let me drag this pencil through here so I've got a clear center line for the two boards. But man, we're already starting to look like wood here. And go down in straight lines. Don't go back and forth or anything like that. If you get a few little snags with the wood, wood on the foam, that's okay. Snags are okay. That adds to the character of the piece. But you do want to get these edges. Absolutely get these edges. And you might even want to go so far as to do the bottom. Because if you do a pose where the swing is out and you see the bottom of the swing, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Because you never know how you're going to end up photographing this. And you don't want to be limited. So we'll do the bottom also. Good idea, Mike. Thanks. Okay, so just texture this up until you're content. You're satisfied with the amount of ridges, roughness, holes, snags, whatever you want to put in there. Okay, and then what I'll do is on the edge here, we'll kind of just drag in a little bit and create some jagged edges like this. And this will give a place for the black wash to get down in. Kind of just push outward, get some texture in there. Mash that back in and kind of ragged it up a little bit. There you go. Okay. Same here. And we'll do the bottom side. I didn't plan on doing the bottom side, but the more I think about it, the more it's probably a good idea. You don't want to be in a position where you can't photograph this from a certain angle because your planning was poor, you know. take and make a couple really deep little marks here. Just to run through. And this will really become more obvious as we wash it and paint it. Okay. There we go. Looks good to me. Can actually even take a little bit of gap out of some of the side between the board too, just to make so they don't look terribly even. Don't get carried away with it, but just a little bit like that in there. Okay, so got our top two boards. Let's not forget our sides. And we can carry that line down the side, just like that. Bang the sides of these up really nicely. Get that line in there. Same on this side. Bring that line through. There we go. Get the sides. Now on the sides, don't go this way, go the same way as the line of that you did. Now this will texture a little bit different. Or, I mean, yours might not. The reason mine is because this was inside the foam. This was on top of the foam. The texture on the inside of the foam is a little bit different. If you want it to be the same, you could hit this with a heat gun, and you could watch it as you pass over with the heat gun, sort of get it shine back and get a surface back to it. But we're not going to do that. I'm not worried about that. You could change the texture of it with a heat gun, and it will. There we go. Snags are all right. Remember, it's all good. Knock a couple out if you want. There you go. Okay. Knock a couple little holes in there. There we go. Okay. Last thing. I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to. Don't judge me. It's just faster than me having to get out the measuring tape and measure those. Don't go too far. We don't want two actual pieces. We want the illusion of two pieces. Cut it right in half. All right. Same thing. Just drag our wood across here. And, well, I'll show you that at the end. If this did happen to break, which it could, it won't once I put the Mod Podge on here. You can make two individual pieces of smaller wood to go across the sides here. It would look awesome also. I don't want this to break into two actual pieces, so I'll take a little bit of extra care. But if it did, it's still not a big deal, because you can add two pieces that make it look like it was nailed in there and holding the two boards together. So it would give it a little more dimension anyway. It's a little bit more work, but it really does look nice. But we don't have to do that unless this really did break. here we go. We've got two, well, we've got one piece of foam. We're making it look like two boards. And as I take a sip of coffee, the next thing I have to decide is the string I want to use, because I need to know the size hole I want to make. And honestly, let me get the figure's hand, just to have an idea. I mean, it definitely is not going to, well, that's a bit extreme. Yeah, that's a bit extreme, I think. I think we can just go with this. That's not bad. This doesn't look bad. If this was about half its diameter, that would be nice. I could unwind it, and I'm not going to do that either. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do this. Once you find the string, or you might be using a chain, or you might be using whatever you want to use. Don't keep your string like mine where I jumble it all up. I'm thinking I want two holes here, to one piece of string to come back up to like a V shape. So let's, and I was saying a 1/2 inch in from the wood. So if this went in right about here, and I'm not really getting precise measurements, I'm just doing what I think is going to look nice. Right here and right here. Same thing over here. Right here and right about here. Okay. I think I'm going to take, I want a sharp tool because I don't want that to break. I need it to pass through pretty easily. I've got some clay tools that would push right through there. I do have, well, I've got a few different kinds. You know, I got a little screwdriver too. Actually, well, sometimes I get lost in a multitude of things I have to decide which actually works. These tweezers here could actually go right down in there. Yes, we don't want to break the sides out, so I'm going to take my time, and then I'll push from the bottom back inward. The reason I do that is because they have a nice fine point, these tweezers, but then they change to a rectangular sort of tapered shape, and I don't want that. So there we go. Because if I broke the edge of this, then I would have to start again. I want to avoid that. I think that will pass through there pretty easy. Lick the string. Yeah, that'll go through there. Let me open. String in my mouth. String in my mouth alert. Just smooth that hole out a little bit. There we go. Waller it out. That's a technical term. You got to waller it out. It's where you take the drill bit, because you didn't pick the right size, and you just waller it. There we go. It's wallered out. Okay. These are great print tweezers. I have a set of these for my 3D printing that you definitely need for 3D printing. And it helps when you're doing toy photography too. You can set stuff in different places and glue things when you're crafting, and lots of different uses for different styles of tweezers. So here we go. I got string on my, I knew I shouldn't have licked it. So there we go. We got a couple pieces of, one piece of wood that looks like two with 4 holes in it. Let's try now to, I'm going to figure about how much of this we want. This is where I have to pay good attention to because the figure is tall. Where'd he go? Where'd you go, Frank? Oh, there you go. Get yourself over here. Let's set him on something with a little height on it. Okay. I just want to get an idea of about what length of this I'm going to need for each side. It might be, let's see, because when you're photographing this, you might not want to see the whole top of the tree. I'm thinking something like this right here. So let's cut that, and then I'll make 2 of these. Okay. So we'll cut 1 more of those, just the same length. We're almost done. Kind of, almost, in a way. All right. I'm doing this other cut off the camera. Off the out of frame. Okay. So we've got 2 pieces of string. Make a tire swing, but I don't think Frankie'd fit on that little tire. You need a tractor tire. Okay. Now what we can do is move him back out of the way. And I think these strings I'm going to push up to the bottom. Push up through the bottom. What I might, you know what? I better not put the string in yet. Hang on. What we're gonna do, we're gonna need to paint this first, before I put the string in. Otherwise, I'm gonna have string in the way when I go to paint it. So let me show you what I want to do with the paint. And I may, how flimsy is it? That's not, I'll tell you what I'll do. To keep this together so that whenever you photograph it or whenever you put it away, if you happen to cut down the middle like that and you're scared that it will break at some point, we'll run a toothpick through there to keep that from breaking. And I've got, oh, you know what would work even better? I've got some wire, but it's, of course, it's in my actual garage, not here in my studio. So we'll go with the wooden skewer here. That wire would actually really would work and be a good option, but I don't want to go out and get it. So what we'll do is we'll whittle an end of this down just to get a sharp point on it. I do have some wire that I use for posing figures and stuff like that. It's a rebar tying wire, and what I do is I would put that in there. It would save me. It already has a little sharp end on it. It would save me from having to do this here. Okay. The goal is to get kind of a sharp end on this. And this is just to give some stability to this swing. I want to so we'll push it through and then we'll break it off. This is a tricky point. You don't want to ruin your swing. Let me get one of my little drill bits out here, make like a little pilot hole. Kind of like when you're doing actual wood. You don't really want to just run the screw in there. You can make a little pilot hole so that things are a little bit easier. And I don't want it to go out the side, so there we are. We're all the way through the back, so that was nice. And that's a little bit easier, like I say, then we'll pull that through. Stick this rascal in here. Kind of just twist a little bit. You already know you've got a hole, so it's going to go. There we go, just right up to the end. There we are. See that? Bam. Okay, now we'll put these back. And I'll cut this. Kind of cut it. There we go. Okay. And if it pokes out a tiny bit, you could just sand it down with an emery board. Which is what I'll do really quick. And this is an extra step. I didn't think about this step in the beginning. It just, I realized that as I went, I would need to create a little bit of stability in this. It's a terrible sound. I completely agree. I think we're good on that. I think we're good on that. Okay, it's good to me. And what that did is now we don't have the flimsiness to worry about later on as we go to photograph this and bang it around or drop it or tangle it on something. We don't have to worry about it falling apart. So on to the painting part of this. The first thing I really would like to do when I paint this, I'm going to lay out a couple little paper towels here just to not make such a mess, and I've got a heat gun because I'm going to speed this up because I don't like waiting. Let me get my right paintbrush that I want to use. I think a paintbrush like this is going to be just fine. Right there, that'll work. Okay. Paintbrush, I will get a stick pin out because we don't want to get my chubby sausage fingers. We'll go 2 stick pins. We'll be dangerous. push the limits. We push the limits. Stick one in there. And we'll stick one in here like it was a cob of corn. Okay, boom, boom. Let me tell you about this right here. This here is simply black Mod Podge. And all it is Mod Podge, like matte. I use a matte Mod Podge for this. I don't use a gloss one. And it's black paint. You can put however much black paint you want in there to make it as black as you want or as gray as you want. But the goal is just to mix the black Mod Podge. And what that's going to do, it's going to add extra stability to this because it seals it kind of like a glue. And it will also fill in all the nooks and crannies of the wood. So as I quit talking and just begin to paint, you will see what I mean. We'll just drag this all, push it all down here into the textures that we created with the wooden shim. Put all that down in there. Thing is, we just don't want to see pink in there. We don't want the pink foam to show through. Okay. We'll do this on all sides. And then I'm going, for this live stream, I'm going to put the heat gun on it because I don't want to wait for it to dry. Dab, dab, dab. Even with the stick pin, it wants to get a little rebellious on me. Wants to fight me a little bit. It's okay. I'm gonna win. Okay. Bottom side. Haha, look at that. It's trying. Get all the nooks and crannies in there. Get this all filled in. And I'm not even going to airbrush this. I'm just going to dry brush it with brown. And then you're going to see this like transform in front of your eyes into like wood. It's going to be really great. It's going to be really cool. Okay. Get all this in there. Like an English muffin, and you're putting butter in all the little good holes. And maybe you want to put a little orange marmalade jelly on there. No, not on this, but on the English muffin. There we go. I like marmalade. And I like butter. And I like English muffins. Okay. Just get the couple little pink spots that remain. I wouldn't worry too much about the holes inside because there's going to be rope in there. You're not going to see inside the hole. And if you did get Mod Podge in there, then it might be hard to run the rope through the hole. So we don't want to do that either. I think we're looking pretty good right here. Let's cover this so no dust gets in there. We don't want that. Set that to the side. Let me get a clothespin. Actually, instead of a clothespin, I think I'll use this. Maybe I can get a good grip on this little ball without crushing it with this. Now, sometimes the clothespin's better. Let me get the clothespin. Try to get all kinds of super fancy, and that's what happens. Hey, don't do it. Now it's stuck in there. Usually I just put a clothespin in, but I think because this one's really high that it's going to fall. So let's do this. No bueno. I don't really want it to fall, and I gotta go get my heat gun. Stay there. Okay. Heat gun. And it will get momentarily loud, but that's all right. It just saves a lot of time. I really don't want to wait for the Mod Podge to dry. And if you have a hair dryer or something like that, man, make use of it. Your time is important. So it's going to get loud for a second. Keep the heat gun moving. You don't want to melt this after all the work you put into it. You don't really want to melt it. I'm going to move this pin to the other side. There we go. We might do 2 coats of this. We'll see. Might not be necessary, but sometimes it is. Just about dry. My pod's pretty thick. I put it on pretty thick. Like I said, I don't want any of the pink to show through the foam or the Mod Podge. We're just about done. Probably after this dries, we'll dry brush this with some brown, run the rope through it, and we're good. But I want you to see what a transformation this makes when you dry brush it with the brown. It just really comes out. Just really pops out when you do that. And this is still just a little bit wet, but just in some spots. I think I will put one more coat on there because I don't want to see any of that pink in there. So let's put a little bit more on there. Doesn't have to be a heavy coat, the second one. There we go. Now we're totally blacked out. Beautiful. And we don't want to lose our textures, so don't put so much on that. If you're going to do this, don't put so much on that it covers all your texture and it fills it all in. You don't want that either. There we go, just on the top and bottom, and let's dry that up really good with the heat gun, and then move on to the next exciting part. I'm just dragging some of my texture back out with the bristles. There we go. Okay, let me put this brush right away in some water because I don't want the Mod Podge to dry on there. And we're not gonna use that brush again. Having tools like heat guns and hair dryers, it really saves you a lot of time. And you might think, oh, but it's 30 bucks or whatever. But if you can spend the 30 bucks, do it, because the amount more crafting you can get done with saving time on, you know, using tools like this is really, really helpful. To me, in my opinion, it is. You know, I hate wasting time on paint drying. I want to make sure this is good and dry before I do the next part where I do the dry brushing with the brown, because then if it's not, then you're just going to be smearing your brown into your black and it's going to look terrible. I think we're about there. Okay. So let me grab a brown that I'm going to use for this. And got a couple. I've got a brown wash, and I've got an actual. I like that burnt umber color, man. I love that. I'm a fan of that color all day long. Let's see. I just gotta find. There it is. And here's a nutmeg color that is really nice too. See, I've got a burnt umber, and then I've got a nutmeg. This nutmeg, we might go with this nutmeg. I really like, and this is just one more paint, man. I really like this nutmeg colored. Yeah, man, looks good. So let's take a little time to feel this. If I get Mod Podge on my glove, I know it's not time to Mod Podge it yet. Or paint it. Remember how flimsy it was? Now look. Doing good. Nice and stable. Perfect. So, okay. Let's get my dry brush set up. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same paper towel, shake this up a little bit, squirt a little bit out on there, select a good brush for this job, which a firm brush is good. It's a small piece. I think we'll just go with this brush. It's not that firm, but I think we're going to be okay. You could do a paper towel if you wanted. Knock some of that back off. And this is really dark, so it's going to take a few passes, so don't. And just hit it at an angle so you hit all those grooves. Going to take quite a few passes. No doubt about that. So be patient and just build them up. Build them up. Now this brush is a little soft, but it's what I have on hand, and it's going to work. Just adjust how you apply it. And if you can't see what I'm doing, I'm doing it pretty fast, but I'm just going at an angle, and I'm just letting the brush hit. I'm not pushing down on the brush, I'm just letting it go over the top and hit these ridges. That's all. And I'm not going this way with it. That would fill in the grooves. We're just going to go like we are right here, straight over the top. Give this a second to dry. These acrylic paints dry super fast. You could save time and just do an actual black wash with watered down black paint, and that would save you a lot of time in the dry brushing. But you don't get, the Mod Podge acts as a sealer, and so I like that. And as in this case was an added benefit, a little bit of that gluey effect that it gave in the center where we scored the effect of making the one piece look like two boards. It gets down in there and kind of binds it, and so it really helps give it that added strength. And so this here, same thing, don't go this way. We don't want to cover all that in. We want that black to show through. Let that dry on that side, and we'll get some of these other edges here. And don't be in a hurry on this part. You really don't want to, you want to not fill any of those big crevices and snags and stuff in that we did. You want to be able to go lightly over that and keep that black showing through. See that there? You want those end pieces showing through with that black. You don't want to fill all that in. If the camera will focus on there, we'll give it a chance to. I've got more light that might help. The problem with this, I'm not going to turn that on because the problem with that light is it's really it's a tungsten bulb or halogen, and it's really orange. So you get a bad idea of what the color looks like on your piece when you're painting under a light that has a really strong color cast. So stick with what we got. Okay. sometimes it feels good, you know, just get back to doing some stuff on some foam. I've been busy doing all these 3D printing and all this other stuff this last week, making a lot of props and things for my website for people to buy and for me to use, and it's fun to just get back to this kind of thing right here, you know. Good old dry brush and some good old foam and Mod Podge. Goes, the possibilities are pretty endless. And this was just a scrap piece that I didn't throw away, so don't ever feel like you gotta throw all your scrap pieces away, unless they truly are some random scrap piece that, you know, you're never gonna use. Some weird triangular sliver wedge looking piece. Toss it out. Okay, so we're getting there. With this next coat, once this has a second to set in here, then with the next coat, well, we gotta do that side. There we go. Okay. Looking good, looking good. And install a new light right here. Just a nice, bright, daylight balanced LED. But looking good. Let's add another coat on top. Hear the trains and the sirens, everything that I live with. This helps me focus on not hearing all of that, because it does get the person's senses overwhelmed. Have to have something to keep your mind healthy. Okay, let me grab some white. And a different brush, so that we can do some brush on a few little highlights. Now, is it a good brush? I don't think I want that brush. Let's see. Use this one. This will work. This will work nice. Okay. Just get some in the brush like that. Well, that's a little tricky. You think you got it all off the brush, and then bam, here's a big old blob. So this is the top of the swing here. So just brush a few little don't cover your whole piece in white highlights. I'm not going to. I mean, I'm not going to tell you you can't, but you know, I just kind of try to use them sparingly and on the edges where I think reflection might catch. Something to break up the dark. That's all we're after here. Something to break up all the dark and add a little contrast to all the dark that's going on here. See that? And if you get too much on, which I sometimes do, I just hit it back with a paper towel and knock it off. See that? It breaks up the dark. It really makes it pop out. Good thing we did the bottom. That was good thinking. And hit around these snags, definitely get some white reflection around the ridges of those. That makes those really pop out. See that? Makes those really stand out. Accentuates. That's the word. A little bit more. Let's go crazy. See that? Now you can see the definition of the hole. It makes it look nice. And we're just about done, man. Hang on. And we'll put some string in this. A little crazy right there, see? Just take it back off. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. We'll do some around the roll poles. There we go. Looks good to me. Okay, put this in the water. Move this stuff. Alright. Let's see about putting these pins away so I don't lose them. Man, these pins, these are such great tools to have in your crafting bag because you can hold stuff and put stuff in place, and they're just good to have, man. And I use them when I do the photography too. It holds the foam diorama panels together. Really nice. Okay, so trash that. Get that out of the way. I think I'm going to use, I need a pair of tweezers for this for sure, to get the string through the hole. This is where, I'll link these in the description too, man. These are nice to have, all different size tweezers, man, because you're going to see right here what a benefit it is to get these through the hole here. Let's see. As I say that, I'm going to suck at it. It's not going to work. What I want to do is just try to get that started down in there. I'll just push that down in with this one, and I'll grab it with the other pair. And I want to start from the bottom because I don't want the crossover of the string to be visible on top. Okay. Once it starts poking its little self out the top, make sure I didn't Mod Podge the hole over. No, we're good. Okay, yeah. We don't want to Mod Podge, a little Mod Podge in there. You don't want to plug the hole up because then the string won't go through. That's what I was saying earlier, but sometimes it happens. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. And put this rascal through the bottom. See, I can see daylight through that one. The other one, I packed it with a little bit of Mod Podge, but it's all right. It works out in the end. Now we're going to have an awesome little swing that we can add to any scene that we want. And what, this took an hour to make? I mean, like no time at all. Okay, the trick here is to, it's really not a trick, it's just, we just want it to be even. See, I wanted that on the bottom because I think it looks way better on the bottom. and hang that rascally rascal upside down, and don't pull so tight that you break everything. Just want to create a little slack in here to pull up on one side so that we can pull down on the other. I don't want to break it. And we'll give it a little bit more, probably that much right there, and pull that down, and we should have 2 even pieces. Yeah, I think we're pretty even right there. Okay, and I made this long because I don't know yet exactly how long I want it to be. You can always adjust this at the top, tie it off, or whatever you want to do later. It depends on the camera angle and the lens that you're using and how wide a shot or tall a shot. You know, you don't want to. So we're good with that. I mean, I can just tie this off up here. I just grab them both together, and then with my sausage fingers, I kind of just tie them off like that. I think that'll work. Yep. Okay, and we'll do the same on the other side. Save myself a step here. Let's make sure the Mod Podge is cleared out. I can see daylight in this one, so we should be good. Sometimes a little bit gets in there. Okay, so we'll use the little stick that we used earlier to make the support. Just kind of shove that into there. Hey, he's a fighter. It's always one. There we go. Get in there with these little tweezers and grab a piece of string. At some point you'll grab it. Yeah. It's in there somewhere. There we go. Sometimes the frayed end of the string is a bit of a beast, but there we go. Just be patient. We don't want to see I didn't get it all on that one. So the thing is, you just don't want to tear up what you made. There we go. Can always fix that. Okay, so we're gonna pull that up and wait a second. What am I doing? Okay, yep. This will go back through the bottom. Let me get a little bit more. Let me waller that out just a little bit more. There we go. I didn't have it wallered enough. Bring that down into there so we don't have to fight with it so much this time. Flip her over. There we go. Okay. And voila, voila, voila. And get these two pieces about even. There we go. And we'll just tie them off at the top. And we'll have old Frankie sit on this in a minute. Now keep in mind he's not balanced. He's only got one leg, so we can't kind of create. Actually, let's create this a little more even. We'll tie it off about right there. Okay, let me grab, for now, I'll just grab some kind of stick or something. where's Frank? Here we go. Okay, so oh, Franco, man. So the idea is that he would have, behold, get your butt down here, boy. Yeah. So the string would go through his hands, and I would have a branch over the top that I've made, or a wooden dowel or whatever. You don't even have to have a branch. Depends on the shot that you're after. I mean, you might not even be showing the top of the image, so a branch wouldn't be necessary. But, and this isn't going to balance because just the nature of it. But then we've got Franco on a swing, man. And don't mind this one leg, man. But look, I mean, that's a good looking swing, good looking base. We got a nice bottom. Got some nice sides. Got some good string. I think we did good. What'd that take us, an hour? Had to see the live view. But, man, we're good. That's going to be something that you can use in whatever set you want. And, you know, you can just take some kind of clothespin. You can take a metal clamp. Let me get a piece of wood and I'll show you. I'll just get something over here and I'll show you. You can do it on a tripod. You can do it on you know, just run a piece of stick. You could do it with some clothespins or whatever, you know. And now, keep in mind, unless you're really balanced, he's not going to sit up by himself. When I do the photo, there's going to be some supporting things holding him. But look, I mean, that's, you know, see if I can get those in his hands. You know, a marionette would be cool. Man, so many possibilities in crafting, man. You know, bam. I think that looks great, man. Anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me and following along in this toy photography and crafting journey. You know, like and subscribe, share the channel, tag me, share me, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I'm all over. You know, love being a part of this community. It's a great time. And we'll see you in the next video. I'll put part 2 of my other video up. The one where I did the forced perspective diorama photography. And also a quick little side note. I do have the fire hydrants available on my website now. I designed, 3D printed, and painted these. I'll link that in the description of this live stream down below. And I am working on a really cool flamethrower pack where we've got sort of a World War I look to it. I've got the little nozzle there and the cutoff valve and the brass. This is for, I'm going to have where you can put it on a figure, or it doesn't even have to be a flamethrower tank. You can use this for anything, but there's some really cool detailing here with the on-off valve, the crossover for the gas to come over into the part where a hose would hook, and I've got the polygon brass fitting there. Looks really cool. And I mean, these are really cool fire hydrants. And I've got the barrels and the drums, all that stuff on my website, insightfulimagery.com. Click the toy photography, or no, click the diorama props page, and I'll link that in the description down below also. And hey, we'll see you guys and gals in the next one.